Good afternoon, North Park. My name is John Hoven. I was a teacher in Walden from 1983 to 1989 when Randy was his first assistant coach on the boys basketball team. I'm currently in Woodbury, Minnesota, a suburb of Minneapolis. I thought I'd add my North Park jacket to the set today. Randy, my heartfelt congratulations on an amazing coaching career. 367 volleyball and 510 basketball wins. Fabulous career, one you should be very proud of. Who knew when we won that first game in 1983 that more than 800 would follow? I have many fine memories of North Park School and Walden. Laura, your dad and I are in contact a time or two every year via text or email. But 5 years or so ago, your dad would start to text me 4 or 5 times a day. You were coaching the state tournament, and I honestly believe that your dad was more proud of you and your accomplishments than he ever was of his own. Scott, I'm sorry I dropped you a couple times when you were a kid. I hope the headaches go away soon. Holly was a great friend, and Susie, I've enjoyed getting to meet you a few times over the last decade. I also want to pass on congratulations from Della Soli, who was a teacher in Walden in the 1980s. Della's teaches about 50 miles away from here in Owatonna, Minnesota. We're in contact often and play a couple of rounds of golf together during the summer. I'd like to tell the people of Walden 3 stories which very well may sum up the career of Randy Hodgson. They all take place in Rock River, Wyoming. Randy was an amazing basketball strategist. We were playing poorly that night in the old Rock River school. You remember the one with the basketball court, lunchroom, hallway lockers were all in that same space? Rock River had 6 players. We weren't ahead by much. Late in the game, 3 Rock River players fouled out. In a coaching move possibly never before done in the history of basketball, Randy called a timeout, went to the 4 corners offense against 3 players. Really. Randy liked to win, and he did what needed to be win. About a year later, we were on the way to the new Rock River School, and the bus got stuck in a snowdrift about a mile from the school. Probably would have taken at least an hour or more for a tow truck from Laramie to get there, and we probably just would have had to cancel the game. Sensing one of his soon-to-be 510 wins stuck in a snow pile, Randy stood up and announced that everyone had to get off the bus and push. 40 players, cheerleaders, coaches pushed the crowd to the snowbank. 3 hours later, victory North Park. In 1985, we had a strong team, and Rock River was weaker than ever. Randy was sensing a win by 50 points, and he felt that scouting Sirocco versus West Grand was the most important thing to do that evening. He sent me, the assistant, with the team that night, and he went himself to West Grand to scout. Before getting on the bus, he took me aside. He didn't tell me what play to run, what offense to run, what defense to run. He simply looked at me and said, "If Jeff Bradley gets hurt, you don't need to get bothered getting back on the bus." We won by 70, and Jeff didn't get hurt. 510 victories for you, Randy, and yes, one of them's mine. Randy, we can keep this little Rock River story between us. If the curator of the Colorado Historical Basketball Archives calls me, I'll play ignorant, plead the fifth. So at this time, I'd like to officially give my one victory at Rock River to you and your legacy. Before I wrap this up, I need to mention one more thing. When I left Walden in 1989, I had the 2nd highest bowling score in the history of Walden Lanes. That's a true story, Brian.
I believe it.
Yep. Randy had the 3rd highest by 19 pins less. A few months after I'd left and I was teaching in Iowa, I got a letter from a North Park student wishing me well in my new school. Besides the good wishes, the letter also mentioned that they took my name down and moved Randy's score up to number 2 on the Wall of Fame. Did they take it down, or did you, Randy? Thankfully, many letters, phone calls, and peaceful protests at the National Bowling High Score office in St. Louis, we were able to force Walden Lanes to put my score back up. I was gone a few months and quickly forgotten. Randy, I think you know where I'm going to go with that story, but that's not the case. You gave your heart, soul, and all that you had to Walden. As the sports cliche goes, you left it all on the court. No, they're not going to take your name down off the high score list. Every student in North Park for the last 3 decades was touched by you and your passion for young people. They won't forget Randy Hodgson. As the generations come and go, the legend of Randy Hodgson will live on. A few stories might even get embellished, although none of the ones I told today were. The fact is, one of the greatest coaches in Colorado history is from Walden. That can't ever be disputed, and you won't be forgotten. Congratulations, my friend.